Welcome to Ground Level Garage in Brooklyn, New York. We're sitting here next to my 1976 Datsun 280Z. I've had the car for about 7 years. It's been a project the entirety of that 7 years. From just getting it running the first year of ownership to driving around this past summer after many years of modifications and deciding that now this winter I want to build another motor that is practically identical to the one that is in there. $800 can get you a lot at 4 a.m. on Craigslist. May also be the easiest way to throw away $800, and I'm not too sure where this falls just yet. I purchased a car with 60,000 original miles. I have all the original paperwork, order sheet, window stickers, even this cool die stamp warranty card they used to give you at the dealership back in the 70s. It's a clean Southern chassis, and it's only lived in New York as long as I've owned it. So rust isn't a major concern. It's pretty much lived a healthy life for the past 40 years. That alone makes it a pretty rare piece. So going full tilt, modernized, hype rocket with the car just wouldn't be right. I want to build something that celebrates the history and tradition of style that this car gave life to. Something that harkens back to the salad days of street tuning in Japan. A tough, squat, agile Japanese street car. Something you'd see on the pages of Carboy or Young Auto back in the 80s. An homage to the purest era of tuning in my opinion. And sadly, something you don't see very much of these days. During my tenure of ownership, I've taken the car from stock to pretty well outfitted. I rewired the entire car front to back, scrapped the stock ignition, got rid of the EFI, put on some triple Webers and a Bluetooth distributor. It's a stock L28 with an N42 head, tuned, timed, and curved for performance. Just enough horsepower to have some honest fun with. It's got adjustable suspension and welded camber plates all around, and a lot of tire to keep it stuck to the pavement. It's totally a fun car and I love it, but why not make it more fun? Important thing to remember when you're working on a project like this with a lot of moving parts, a lot of little pieces, a lot of bolts, a lot of nuts. Have a clean working surface, somewhere to lay your stuff out in order, because there's nothing worse than looking for that one bolt you can't find later on. But beyond that, cool thing about taking something apart is you can kind of caveman it. So, okay, so as you can see here, this valve has quite a bit of oxidation, maybe even a little corrosion on it. I'm not going to know till we take it apart. But that being said, we do have to take it apart. We're going to have to go through this entire thing and see if it's anything we want to keep using. But that's for another day. Most factory torque sequences for tightening a head will have you go in order from some particular arrangement of inside to out. When you're removing a head, you're going to want to go from outside in. It's easier to do that way. You're going to run into less issues with things feeling seized or over-torqued. I currently have an N42 head on the car right now, which nets a higher compression ratio on the stock L28, but doesn't flow quite as well as the P79 we have in front of us. The P79 is a more resilient head, but was intended to be used on turbo cars. Turbo cars run safer with a lower compression ratio in stock form, so in order to up the ratio on this head, you have to start thinking about your ultimate quench area, head gasket choices, piston choices, etc, etc. I want to keep this thing NA. So we have some decisions to make in how we want to address the top end moving forward, or maybe even the whole engine, we'll see. So John, why not cram an RB or 2J or LS into this thing, wrap it in vinyl, stretch some tires and do some burnouts for the gram? Well, I think that's just flatly wrong to do to a car like this. Mostly because this car has an entire history that predates my own time on this earth. I tend to think that I'm just the current custodian of a car that has a much richer story to tell. In a time where everyone seems to be doing these quick, slap-together internet builds, It's imperative that this car communicates a deeper statement, what a 280Z truly, at its essence, is all about. Roaring carburetors, the smell of gasoline, and the organic might of a purely analog Japanese street machine. Now, a lot of people will tell you don't ever drop your timing chain. That's if you're gonna keep the motor assembled. This thing is coming fully apart, so there it goes. Okay, so plot twist number one. These were supposed to be flat top pistons. Those are not flat. Alright, it's not all bad. Not exactly what was advertised either. So now we have some decisions to make. What are we gonna do with this motor to make the most of it? There's a lot of potential here, but how are we gonna make this thing sing?